It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. I'm really excited to say that Marks & Spencer's, as of April 2020, have jumped on the bandwagon of the £3 can of beer. That's a 440ml can. We used to call them tall boy cans back in the day. They've jumped on the bandwagon. They've just launched 3 or 4 beers into Marks & Spencer's. This is the first one I'm gonna try. It's a luxurious oatmeal stout brewed with freshly ground coffee and roasted cacao nibs, and it's called Cafe Creme by Arbor Ales, based around the Bristol area of the UK. I'm really excited for this. 6.9% ABV. Without further ado, let's get the can out into a glass and see what we get. Ho ho ho! Look at this. Look at this. £3 a can. £3 a can for this in the glass. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to swear at you. For this in the glass, look at that. Let's see if it's can conditioned. I got a bit of beer there on the back of the can. My apologies. Right, 2-finger chocolatey tan coloured head, jet black beer in the glass, good levels of carbonation. There's no light bleeding through that glass of beer whatsoever. That is fabulous, absolutely fabulous to look at. Look at that. That head wants to stay forever. You can see as you rock the beer. I'll be able to rock it more later on when I've drunk some of the beer. I can be very, very rigorous with it, but even with a glass full of beer, it's looking terrific. Aroma. Now, Arbor, I think Arbor's breakout beer, if you like, was probably about 2012, 2013. They produced a breakfast stout, Arbor Ales breakfast stout. That was their breakout beer that everybody in the UK wanted to try, that was involved in the industry, that was interested in craft beer, really good quality beer. Everybody wanted to try Arbor Ales breakfast stout. And this is almost kind of built on that very foundation, this particular beer. That same kind of coffee. There's a little bit of a vinous quality coming through as well, the amount of hops that they've added to the beer. A plum and a fig and a prune. Ah, it smells lovely. Absolutely fabulous. Chocolate, coffee, caramel, vinous qualities coming through. Coffee and chocolate stout. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Oh my goodness me. Wow. Wow. Stone the crows. Stone the crows. That is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. That is how to do it. That is how to do it. Blimey. That is... Let me explain. Let me explain before I get into the flavours. There's a lot of UK supermarkets now jumping on the 440ml, this size can, selling it at a £3 price point. Morrison's do it, Tesco do it, now Marks & Spencer's. I wouldn't be surprised in the future to see Sainsbury's do it, maybe even Aldi and Lidl. They might even jump on the bandwagon. They may even do it for £2.50, knowing Aldi and Lidl. But that is for me That's like going to a, and I've mentioned this quite a lot now. I've coined a term. It's not like high-end smartphone. It's not. These £3 beers are like a mid-range smartphone. They do most of the things a high-end smartphone does, but there's just a little bit of, just a few things that have been taken away a little bit. Does that make sense to you? So I've coined the phrase like a mid-range, like a mid-range £3 can of beer, 440 milliliter can that they're all producing now, these supermarkets, or nearly all producing. But this is like the OnePlus. If anybody knows their phones, this is like the OnePlus, that they produce a smartphone for half the price of a top-end iPhone, and they got all the same features but for half the price. So this is, for me, top-end. This is top-end 440 milliliter oatmeal stout, coffee and chocolate stout, 6.9% ABV, for that wonderful price point of £3. I hope I've made sense. I hope I've made sense. Let's talk flavour. The mouthfeel is just bonkers good. Massive creaminess from the oats, coming through, a real kind of creamy, oaty, velvety, medium mouthfeel, as we call it in the industry. There's then flavours of the roasted malt, the chocolate, the coffee, the caramel coming through. You get the cacao nibs coming through, the actual chocolate, the brilliant cacao. I love a cacao nib. Brilliant cacao nibs coming through, the chocolate coming through in the beer. And then the coffee comes through, mixed with that oatmeal stout kind of flavour. Well, that's the creme. That's very clever. That's the cream. The creme is that kind of oatiness coming through. Mix that with the coffee, like an espresso-like coffee. It's vinous on the back end with the hops that they've added. Plums and figs and prunes. This is. I mean, if I paid £5, £6, £7 for this in a bottle shop, I think I'd still be doing the same thing. Stone the crows. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. This is high-end beer for a £3 price point. It really is. And it's probably all to do with mad. Let's get this bit out of the way very quickly. It's probably margins. It's probably Marks and Spencer going, we won't have as much as a cut as maybe Tesco do. I got a feeling, see, because Morrison's can produce a fantastic £3 can of craft beer. Marks and Spencer's can do the same thing. But Tesco were first. Tesco were first at the door at this. They were the ones who really come out about 2 years ago now, producing these 440 milliliter tins of craft beer. And I remember the Vocation Breakfast Stout. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But then you get some good ones, then you get some bad ones in Tesco, and I wonder if that's to do with the margin. And what I mean by the margin is that how much Tesco take as a percentage of that £3 that they put it on the shelf at. How much does Tesco kind of have out of it? I've got a funny feeling that Morrison's and Marks and Spencer's probably take a little bit less, and then when they take a little bit less, the brewer's able to put a little bit more into their beer, make that, polish it up that little bit more, make it a better quality beer. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. I really am just guessing. But if I was in the chasing pack, if I was another supermarket, because Tesco went first and they're the #1 supermarket in the UK, if I was a Morrison's or a Marks and Spencer's, then I would be looking at the margins and be looking out to undercut them and get people talking about our beer, the beer that's in Morrison's or Marks and Spencer's, just to take the limelight away from Tesco a little bit. it might be complete codswallop what I've just said, but I just feel the quality. This is a really, really high quality beer for that £3 price point. It's velvety, it's rich, it's smooth. Chocolate, coffee, caramel flavours coming through. Fantastic mouthfeel. Carbonation pushes the beer around the inside of the mouth. I promised you something earlier. I promised to do this, didn't I? Look at the lacing. Look at the lacing and the way the head's redeveloped. And watch as I rock the beer back and forth. You can see the carbonation chasing the head of the glass. That looks just absolutely wonderful. Tastes absolutely wonderful. Smells absolutely wonderful. Before we give a rating, let's read the back of the can. I think I already have, haven't I? Luxurious oatmeal stout brewed with freshly ground coffee and roasted cacao nibs. Arbor Ales, based in Bristol, Eastern Road in Bristol. I'm going to rate it 6.9% ABV. For that price, for that £3 price tag, I'd be happy to pay £5, £6, £7 for this can of craft beer. I would. In any other situation. In any other situation. If I was visiting a local bottle shop and I picked that up, I'd be very, very happy with that beer for that price point. So to get it for £3 is wonderful. It's a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers.